I was just like big white tight end. That's Mark Andrews, and it's fucking Nick Boyle instead.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah! So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. I am your host tonight. My name is Nick Walsh, and I am here with my beautiful, long-haired, bearded friend, Vinny Gonzalez. Vinny, what's going on, dude?
Not much, man. I'm happy to be here as always.
Yeah, very, very happy to be here. We were talking previously how both of us have gotten pounded by work this week due to the end of the third quarter. For those of you who are big business types or whatever.
It's a huge deal.
You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, both of us have had rough weeks, and for me, this is going to be the highlight of it, I think, because I was also telling you the air quality is once again bad in beautiful San Francisco, so I can't go outside. So this is basically as good as my week is going to get. So let's fucking do this, man. We have for you tonight the Week 4 preview. We are going to go through 14 football games. That is not the 16 that we've gone through in the past couple of weeks because, one, the Thursday night game already happened. We didn't preview it. We're sorry, but also, there was only, a couple plays for the most part anyway. I don't – if
And they all did really good. So if you played Judy, you got lucky. If you played Crowder, you reap the benefits of what he does. And then Melvin Gordon predictably had a tight game. Yeah.
The one guy who kind of didn't really do what you were hoping was Noah Fant, but he also got injured in, I think, the third quarter. So
and he didn't murder you. He had an okay, he ate 6, almost 7.
I thought it was 5 for 30 something, but I could be wrong. But I mean, at the tight end spot, that's not.
It's not going to kill you.
No, and he probably would have ended up doing more. That was a very, very fun game. I had a ton of fun watching that game.
Dude, it was great. I mean, it wasn't
It was not classically good football. Yeah,
it was fun.
It was just super entertaining. So hopefully you guys watched it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And then, of course, the other game that's missing is the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game, which has been canceled due to Adam Humphries and one other player on the Titans, as well as some of their staff, testing positive for COVID. Going to be made up later on in the year. They're treating it as a bye week. So, yeah, I mean, kind of just take it as it goes for now. We'll see what happens with the Titans organization in general, since they are the team that did have the outbreak. But it is good that, it seems contained to the Titans. Minnesota's players all tested negative, as did their staff. Of course, that being the matchup from this past week. So, I think we might have gotten comfortable in the first couple of weeks, but this was part of me was man, maybe I shouldn't have been as worried as I was about this season, but this was bound to happen at some point. And I guess it's good that it happened in a sort of contained way, and they reacted quickly to it.
Yeah. I mean, we were having so much fun the first couple of weeks. It left my brain. And when this happened, I was just oh yeah, I'm really stupid for thinking this wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the entire off season, I think both of us, thought this was going to happen at some point during the season. It's similar to what was it, the third day of baseball season or whatever, where the Marlins game got canceled. And at that point, I was already mad at baseball for this year. So I was I'm done watching baseball this year. I'm not doing it anymore. And I haven't watched it since then, but football I'm going to keep watching because I'm financially invested, emotionally invested, and it is a huge part of my life that if I give up, I will be sad about.
Yeah, dude, it's the best.
Yeah.
Can't turn your back on football.
Yeah, no, can't do it. No matter how much CTE it gives people and how many broken bodies. I'm sorry. My two favorite things are football and wrestling, and they both are terrible for people. But anyway, let's jump into the Week 4 matchups. And we're going to start with Indianapolis at Chicago. Indianapolis is a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under here is 43. So we're not looking at a ton of expected fantasy output, and that's really because of the Colts. The Colts want to slow the game down and run it, and they've shown it these past couple of weeks. That being said, we're kind of back to a running back rotation after week 2, where Jonathan Taylor dominated the touches. We're looking at Taylor, Hines, and Jordan Wilkins splitting snaps, splitting work. Taylor clearly still the lead back, but Hines getting some of the passing down work and that sort of thing. So what's the deal? How do you parse this situation?
I really don't know. And even on the running back side, like, it's also the same thing on the wide receiver side. It's very much rotational. No one's getting over 6 targets or anything like that. Most catches are 4 a game, and it's just a lot of Hilton, Pascal, and that's kind of it now with Pittman out. But it's just been a very like round robin kind of deal here. And
Yeah.
it's you play your studs, I guess, which would be like Ty and Jonathan Taylor, but they're going to be subject to the rotational.
Yeah, and I think this might be a thing that kind of changes week to week, in a similar manner, sort of to the Patriots, where the Patriots, change their running backs, their running back strategy based on matchup, but like it's not based on matchup like an early down / late down split would be. Really, it's like based on matchup, based on other stuff, which the coaches know and like we don't know.
Right. And if we're talking about the running backs, like they're all similar backs, like they all have similar skill sets. So it's really tough to say who's going to get the draw here, but going against Chicago, it's a good rushing matchup. So I think Jonathan Taylor is probably your best bet to like break out of that, hopefully be the hot hand here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Taylor's definitely a start. I don't think I would really be trying to start either of the other 2 guys.
No, I agree with that. And I think the same for probably T.Y. Hilton. Like you probably have him as your solid wide receiver 2. If you have a good wide receiver set, probably your 3, which is very solid. But I feel like that's the best bet as well. Like you just got to hold on and hope for that T.Y. breakout. Yeah,
no, I agree with you there. It's his usage has been weird because they've used him on only about 50% of snaps for each of the past 2 weeks. But I think that might have been like them just not thinking they needed to use him. But with Michael Pittman out and Paris Campbell obviously out, I feel like they have no other choice because it's Zach Pascal, and then the guys behind him are Ashton Doolin and a man named Doris Fountain, not Maurice Fountain, Doris Fountain.
That's a great name.
I wonder if they call him Doe as his nickname, which
Dofo?
Dofo. Yeah, that actually is a pretty sick nickname. All right, well, pick up Dofo or whatever. Yeah, no. But yeah, Ty seems like they're going to have to use him, and he's still getting in nearly 35% of the team's air yards. So I don't think it's a bad play by any means. Let's go to the tight ends where Mo Alley Cox outsnapped and out-targeted Jack Doyle in Doyle's return to the team. But Doyle is another week healthier, and also Trey Burton is eligible to come back from the IR this week. So do you have a take on any of these guys being startable?
No, I think you bail on all of them. Now that they're all back, it's going to be the same thing, rotation. And I think the Colts are smart as a team, but it's really shitty for us to parse through, like you said before. So I'm bailing on the whole situation.
Yeah, I think that's the right call for now. If you were going to play one, it's Mo Alley Cox just because he got the most targets and scored a touchdown last week, but I don't want to play any of them. Also, very much think that we could see a ton of 2 tight end sets from the Colts going forward just because they are so thin at wide receiver. So get Dofo and Ashton Doolin on the sideline and get some combination of Doyle, Alley Cox, and Trey Burton in there.
Yeah, and they very much want to be like a run identity team. Like they want to salt games away. They want to keep Phillip under 25 passes per game, and that's how they've won. So I think that is their game plan going forward.
And we didn't mention it, but Phillip is unstartable at this point, I think, because of just that low volume.
Oh, yeah. That was his whole thing with this, twilight years of his career. Like, he's just got to whip it, and they're being smart about it, so we can't exploit it.
All right, let's talk about Chicago, who is going to Nick Foles full-time. I expected this in the offseason. They didn't do it, and I get why, because you can do something like this where the second Trubisky looks bad, you just pull him, as opposed to like if Foles comes in and looks bad, then you have to go back to Trubisky and that looks shitty. So I get it. And Foles came in, he led a comeback against Atlanta. I think I could lead a comeback against Atlanta, but still, good job. This is a much tougher matchup, and I don't think you should start him here.
Yeah, not at all. And as we've said, the fable goes, Nick Foles steps in, he can do the job, but starting is another thing. So we'll see what he's going to do with a team preparing for him. And the Colts defense has been pretty nasty. They haven't had the worst, opponents to go up against, and it's going to be a little tougher for him, obviously.
Yeah, the Colts defense is very good. I think that's very much true. They're that defensive line with the offseason addition of DeForest Buckner, I think, has just been dominating people. But the Nick Foles magic is intact because they started him as the backup. So that's all you need. You just need him to be the backup at the beginning of the season, and then you've got the Nick Foles magic in place. So it works.
All right, so they did the one thing, which is get him in after he's being backup for a game. So he comes in, saves the day, but he needs to be doubted. So I think they need to lose this game outright. Matt Nagy needs to stay by him, and then the positivity comes back, and then the magic is rekindled.
Okay. All right. I accept that. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I think they definitely lose here, but going forward, Foles turns the magic up.
Okay. Fair enough. I think you're probably correct on that. Let's talk about his pass catching weapons where Allen Robinson went off, and he's going to continue to go off. Allen Robinson has 28% of the team targets and 34% of the team air yards through 3 weeks. He's just a wide receiver one in every single matchup, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Foles is very much more willing to throw to him than Trubisky, it would seem.
Well, Foles is the best quarterback he's ever played with in his career.
Yes.
He went from Bortles to Trubisky.
And a couple in between. So, yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty wild.
He had a great quarter and a half with him? Dude fucking went off.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had a deep touchdown called back, actually, after review as well.
The interception one.
Yeah, so, keep on playing Robinson. Do you think you can play anyone else in this pass game? And by anyone else, I mean Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller. Or Jimmy Graham.
Maybe panic spot play Anthony Miller, or if you're really hurting in a deeper league, Cordell Patterson, just because he could possibly feel like you could plug him in wide receiver, but he's also probably going to get some running back snaps now that Cohen's out. So I guess that maximizes some sort of upside for you if you're really, really desperate, but that's as far as I'm reaching on that. He's
listed as a running back, I'm pretty sure, in most leagues at this point, because I picked him up as a running back in a couple leagues this week.
Is he one of those rare, either
I don't think he has the double eligibility. I think he's just a running back this year.
Fuck. Well, that shoots mine out the window, so fuck that. Fuck what I said.
What about Jimmy Graham, who has 3 touchdowns on the year and through the first 3 games has target totals of 7, 1, and 10?
I guess he's becoming like a bitter pill we have to swallow. He's playable.
I'm not fucking playing Jimmy Graham.
You're not biting on it? I'm not advising that you go out of your way, but dude, it's tight end. So
okay, who's the number one tight end to play in this game?
Jimmy Graham. It's the right call.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Okay. I wanted to say Mo Alley Cox.
That's a bad start to your argument, but you are definitely right. Trying not to give in. I just have to go more.
I will still play Logan Thomas, who is getting all the usage and not doing anything with it, over Jimmy Graham. I'll say that.
If that helps you sleep at night, sure. Then some scumbag plays Jimmy Graham against you and he has 2 targets for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then I don't sleep well at all, and I lose. Anyway, let's talk about the running backs or the running back as it may be, because Tariq Cohen tore his ACL, which means it's David Montgomery and then it's Cordarrelle Patterson behind him, which, again, I talked about. I picked up Cordarrelle Patterson as a speculative ad in several leagues, but Montgomery seems like he's going to be the guy, and this isn't a good matchup. But are you buying Montgomery as a lead back for the rest of the year?
I can't fully commit to it. I don't know. Everything points to, yes, he totally will, but it just doesn't seem like what Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor want to do. So I think they're going to find a way to spell David Montgomery, and he might not get 20 carries a game like we think he would. So I would just be very much watching the next couple of weeks. I don't know if they're going to guarantee that full workload that we want, like bell cow.
Okay, that's fair. I think he's been usable so far, and I think he's like definitely an RB2. But yeah, I mean, it's David Montgomery. Like, it's not like it's not anything crazy here. So
yeah, that's what I mean. I think he just kind of stays on the same plane he's been on.
Yeah, I think I agree. And in good matchups, definitely, start him with confidence. And in bad matchups like this, I mean, hope that he gets some targets pretty much. So we'll see how it goes. Who are you taking here?
Colts.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to take you know what? Let's take the Bears. Why not? I bet the Bears under for the win total this year. I think it was like 7.5, and they started off 3-0, which is like really funny. It's just like,
and now Foles is in, so
yeah. I think I might have made a mistake there. Anyway, let's move on to New Orleans at Detroit in a game where this over/under the spread that I put in is no longer correct. I think it's now a 3-point spread with New Orleans as a favorite, and the over/under is 54. And the reason for that is like everyone on New Orleans is out. Michael Thomas is out. Jared Cook is out. Their top two cornerbacks, Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins, are both out. I don't know what to think about New Orleans other than just like Kamara has to be the whole offense, right?
Yeah. Like that's it. I would just play Kamara. I mean, if they shorten the routes up for Sanders or Traquan Smith, maybe, but like you're not fucking betting on that. No way. You're not doing that.
That's what I was going to ask is, do you have like any temptation to play Sanders or Smith?
Not really, man. I don't know. Just Breeze, like this almost feels like a trap game too. Like we're all off it. They're all hurt as fuck, and just Breeze will go out there and just sling dick all over the field. But
Drew Brees he's the zombie of Drew Brees. He's the corpse of Drew Brees. Like I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. I just mentally like psych myself out with these things where it's just like everyone's pounding on the Saints, talking shit, and then all of a sudden something happens. But everything points to the opposite. Like that we're talking about. Like it's just going to be Drew Brees throwing to Kamara over and over and over and hoping that they can win the game, which I don't think they will. I think they're too hurt, and like we said, Drew Brees kind of looks really rough right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, Kamara is the obvious here, but like Kamara only got 6 carries last week. He had 14 targets and turned that into 13 catches. But like, yeah, it's Kamara because of that pass usage, and that's it. I don't think there's anywhere else to really go on this offense. I think Detroit's going to win this game. I'm right there with you, and I mean, I guess that's putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit. But their offense looked good last week against Arizona with Kenny Golladay back. He immediately led the team in targets, catches, yards, air yards, and he scored a touchdown. So, do you have any interest in like Stafford as a streamer this week?
I do. Yeah, he stole it from me. I was going to say, yeah, dude, he's going to throw all over them. I think Marvin Jones has a good game. I think Kenny Golladay has a good game. I think Hawkinson has a great game. So I am all on all those guys. I'm way off of the running backs. I think they get stuffed because even New Orleans did decent against Aaron Jones, and like Aaron Rodgers was able to just sling it all over them with Lattimore playing, with Jenkins playing. They're out. And I think Stafford's just going to have his way. And the Lions it's either going to be a shootout between Kamara and the rest of versus the Lions, or the Lions are just going to pound them this game.
Yeah. And I feel weird saying I don't think the Saints will put up points because despite being like this shell of an offense, they still put up points against the Raiders and against the Packers these past 2 weeks. But to me, I'm betting the under and I'm betting the Lions. Golladay, I think, is a slam dunk of a fucking play. Will probably be heavily owned for me in DFS this week. And Hawkinson, you mentioned, he was back to full complement of snaps, which he hadn't had the first 2 weeks. He played 82% of the snaps in week 3. Got 7 targets. That was I believe tied with Kenny Golladay. And You mentioned Marvin Jones. I don't think I'm going that far. For me, it could be sneaky, and there's always a couple Marvin Jones games every year.
That's right.
So maybe this is one of them. For me, I'm not betting on it. But Galladay and Hawkinson, 100%.
Yeah, I think we're more or less on the same page.
All right, and we're both taking the Lions in the upset?
Yes, sir.
That feels terrible, but
that's what I mean, dude. I get so psyched out by trap games now that I've been betting for 2 years. I just hate it. I hate that feeling.
I don't like having any sort of confidence in Matt Patricia to do anything smart in terms of offensively.
Yeah.
It's him and Adam Gase. I'm just I don't know what the fuck is going to happen here, but
just get all painted up for the game. Just be all right, let Stafford cook.
Yeah, for real. Well, we'll see. All right, Arizona at Carolina. This is a game that I'm very interested in. Arizona -3.5 with an over-under of 51.5. Kyler, we mentioned it last week. He saw some time to throw, and he didn't look great doing it, honestly. He threw 3 picks.
One was not his fault.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But he did throw 2 other ones that were very bad.
So this brings up my theory. I think he's a better fantasy asset when we can project him to be under pressure. He saw a season low in rushing yards by 38 yards this past week, and he still got in the end zone with a rushing touchdown. But I think you want Kyler when teams are going to be able to get after him a little bit. Does that make sense at all?
I mean, yeah, because it maximizes his rushing potential because he loves just getting out of the pocket, making things happen, making everybody look stupid as fuck. So I get your point, but obviously it's almost – it is very weird to say because you want him to have as much time as possible as well. But they also didn't have Christian Kirk, so that limited their offense a little bit. They might be without him again. And they might be without DeAndre Hopkins again. So I think he's going to have to make plays by himself.
Wait, are you serious about DeAndre?
Yeah, he missed practice all week and is now game time. And
are you fucking serious?
Yes, he's missed practice all week with the ankle.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah, so Hopkins and Kirk are both game time. And someone else was also, I believe. But, yeah, it's a little sketchy there. So I think he's going to have to do some shit regardless, so.
All right. Well, if Hopkins and Kirk both don't go, I am smashing Kenyon Drake into every DFS lineup I play, I think. But we'll see how that works out. Let's talk about Kenyon Drake as the next guy. And I'm sorry, I should have said with Kyler, I think he's a better fantasy asset against defenses that can produce pressure. But it's Kyler. He's an every week start. We're not.
Oh yeah, no,
at all.
I didn't take it as that way. I was just saying. Of course, you want this guy not to get pummeled either. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, let's talk about Kenyon Drake, who is getting the rushing work but is not getting the passing work like he did last year. He averaged over 4 targets a game last year. This year is just over 1 target a game. I just said I'm going to smash him in because I think this is a great situation against Carolina. But, how good of a fantasy asset is he for this game and then for the rest of the season?
It's tough to say. I think his upside is a little shot lately because Kyler takes so much of the rushing work and opportunity down at the goal line. So it is tough to say future-wise. This game, pretty good. I mean, the only problem is, again, Kyler's going to take some. Chase Edmonds is more involved than you would like if you're a Kenyon Drake owner. So it's a little bit of a split. But there's going to be a lot to go around because the fucking Panthers can't stop anybody in the rushing game.
Yeah. That's why I think it's so good this week is because
he'll just straight up
it's Carolina. Yeah, he should just be able to run for eat big gains the entire game. Whether or not you have Nuke out there or Christian Kirk out there. So huge fan of that. Definitely think that's the right call. Chase Edmonds is doing enough. He's the most annoying amount of production where it's enough to make Kenyon Drake not an elite option, but not enough to make Edmonds a startable option. It's fucking pissing me off as someone who drafted a ton of Chase Edmonds. But
it's a poor man's Latavius Murray.
Yeah, that's about right. But anyway, with the pass game, we'll see on DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, if he goes, he's got a 35% target share on the season.
Say that again. Say it again.
He's got a 35% target share on this season.
That's fucking right.
You can probably find like an exact clip of me yelling at you. He's not going to have more than a 25% target share on the season, dude. Like,
he just like dumbfounded, like it's DeAndre Hopkins. What?
Yeah, I took the L after week 1 on that one. I was immediately just like, well, I was wrong.
What have I done?
Yeah.
You also made fun of me in the draft second round when I took him. You're just like, did you just do that? I was like, yes. You're stupid. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I was very, very wrong about that. I apologize to everyone, including you. The pass catchers otherwise last week. So Isabella got the 2 touchdowns, but it was actually Keyshawn Johnson who stepped into the Christian Kirk like field stretcher role. He played 71% of the snaps, got 7 targets and 112 air yards, compared to 4 targets and 40 air yards for Isabella. The difference is Johnson caught 2 of his targets, and Isabella turned it into 4 catches for 2 touchdowns and 47 yards. So you would think the lesson in that is that Isabella is good, but like the Cardinals haven't once committed to him being a full-time player. If Nuke and Kirk both don't go, is Isabella a start for you?
I'd probably say Keyshawn.
But then Isabella's got to have the full-time role, right? If they both don't go. I mean, obviously Fitz is going to go out there and, run around and catch 4 balls for 7 yards or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like
that is weird with the Panthers is their passing D has been somewhat okay. I think that's because they get run on so much, but still they've been, stifling people. So if I'm going to take somebody, it's going to be somebody getting air yards and upside kind of deals. So I'm going to take Keyshawn there.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't really have a fully formed opinion yet because I just found out the Nuke was a game time decision. Again, I think I started this podcast by saying that me and Vinny are both getting pounded at work, but that's what happens, I guess.
And I was only aware because I have Hopkins everywhere. So it's everyone just they get comfortable and they're just like, okay, he never really misses games. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he didn't practice Friday. And I was like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, we talked about Drake. I don't think we need to talk about the tight end. So let's move on to Carolina, where Mike Davis, man, led the team in targets with 9 this past week. Also had 13 carries for 46 yards. Mike Davis is a legit borderline RB1, RB2, I feel right now.
Yeah, man, he's low RB1. You got to play him every single week. And, of course, it's not Christian McCaffrey, but guess what? That offense still is doing the same exact thing. He's not doing it in the rushing department. Obviously, McCaffrey does it both ways, but Mike Davis is, reaping the benefits PPR-wise and just the whole bag. So play him until McCaffrey gets back. I think it's really that easy.
Yeah, and against the Cardinals, this is a pace-up matchup too. So they should have a lot of plays, a lot of targets, just a lot of offense to kind of go around. And again, the over/under is 51.5, which brings me to the next play that I think people might be a little bit frustrated with. But DJ Moore, I will say it right now, and I don't think I'm going to change it. I'm going to lock him 100% in all of my DFS lineups this week.
Oh, you're calling the shot? This is because we've been talking about the breakout, I feel the last couple podcasts.
This is it. This is the one. And there's some good matchups coming up, and Arizona's defense has been pretty decent. It's not they're a bad defense, but just the amount of plays, the high over/under. I think this is the week that DJ Moore just goes nuts. 7th in the NFL in air yards, but 15th in the NFL in receiving yards. And his average depth of target is only around 11 yards. So it's not he's a deep threat this year that is, going to hit random weeks, that kind of thing. And you can't really bet on the air yards as much. He's just getting constantly used. And he's got end zone targets. He just hasn't gotten any touchdowns yet. To me, DJ Moore, last week I locked Allen Robinson in all of my lineups and was just this is the guy who has been used well enough and it hasn't hit yet. This week it's DJ Moore.
All right. Walsh is lock it in for the week. I like it. Like it a lot.
What about the other guys? Do you think Robbie Anderson's still a good play?
I do. He's oddly enough a nice floor play, which is the exact opposite of what he's always been. So you got to love that. And then he always has the Robbie Anderson boom game. So I love Robbie. Curtis Samuel I'm less on, but again, if you're in a pinch, it's weird that all three of these guys are always playable, but I do think you can get away with a Samuel game.
I'm less on Samuel. I think you'd have to be a little bit desperate to do that. Like in this game, if again we get no Nuke and no Kirk, I would rather be playing probably Andy Isabella or Keyshawn Johnson than Curtis Samuel.
That's fair. Very fair.
Okay. I don't think we have anything else on this game, right? Do you want to pick it?
I'm going to go Cardinals.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't do it.
All right. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. This is another game. This has been like my kryptonite in daily fantasy over the years, has been stacking Bengals games. And I did it again this past week. And I think
it's my fault.
Dude, honestly, they're normally cheap. And I'm like, oh, they could do something. Like these defenses fucking suck. And then I've been doing it since for the entire time I've been playing DFS. But anyway, Cincinnati's a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 49. This is a rebound week for Gardner Minshew, right? After a disappointing performance against Miami.
So initially I thought that like looking at it on paper, but really the Bengals defense has been attacked through the rush. So I think it's really like a Robinson game. And I don't think Minshew is going to have that good of an outing. I think the Bengals pass defense has been so much better this year. So I would be a little worried starting him again. I would love to say it's easy that he rebounds here, but I'm not so sure. And I would be a little skeptical, especially after last week against the Dolphins, who also have a good pass D.
Okay. I actually, I said that pretty confidently, but I think you're probably right in that. So let's talk about James Robinson, who is dominating the work, playing great. He's splitting snaps with Chris Thompson pretty evenly, but like he's also leading in carries by a lot and getting just as many targets. So is James Robinson just like an RB1 right now?
Yeah, I really think he is. Like he's whatever we just said Mike Davis was. Robinson is like half a tier above that. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, in this awesome matchup, like he's got to be, it's like a slam dunk. Like you're not going to have he just went nuts against Miami. Miami also has a porous run D. I think he does the same exact thing against the Bengals here.
Yeah, I can't argue. And I'm sorry, what college did he go to?
Illinois State. Best fucking state around.
Best fucking state around. All right. In the past game, we've got DJ Shark back from injury, expected to play. Hopefully that means we don't have to see any more of Chris Conley because, man, was he frustrating to watch in that game.
Jesus, he is hot garbage.
Yeah, he led the team in air yards and targets and snap percentage, and I was just like, what are we doing here? He
ruined that game, really, for Minshew, like, straight up.
Yeah, he was terrible.
He fucking burned everybody. But, I mean, at least Shenault looks great. Keelan Cole is a good wide receiver. We all know that. But
I think he might be a floor play this week where, like, if you're in a PPR league, you can probably count on, like, low double-digit points from him. Does that make sense at all?
Cole or Shenault?
Cole.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to be
okay.
Sure. But it will be interesting with Chark back. So, I mean – they're able to spread it around a little bit more to Cole when Shark's out there taking like most of the, coverage. But yeah, I don't know. I guess floor play would be the way to go with that assessment.
Yeah. I think outside of the Keelan Cole floor play, I'm probably not trying to start any of the wide receivers in this game. I kind of want to give it a week and see how the target distribution goes with Shark back healthy and with Shenault kind of evolving into a bigger role than I think he had in the, in the first week when Shark was there. Let's get to the Bengals, I guess, where our man, Joey Backdoors, I picked him up in like 3 leagues. I'm like all about it this week. Am I off the reservation or am I correct here?
No, man, he's been fucking great. Over 300 yards, 2+ passing touchdowns each of his last 2 games. Great matchup again against the Jaguars. Joe is going to sling, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and the Jaguars are 32nd in Football Outsiders pass DVOA, pass defense DVOA. So this is as good of a matchup as we're going to get. It's a high over-under.
Walsh, what is the Bengals' number one problem on offense?
The offensive line.
Their offensive line. Guess how many sacks the Jaguars had against fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick last week?
Is it a low number?
1.
Booyah!
Joe is going to have time, dude. This is going to be Joey money lines.
Oh,
He's not going to even have to cover this shit. Also, they're favorites, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. So he's going to cover. He's going to cover again. Joey, negative spread coverer. You heard it here.
It rolls off the tongue. All right, so let's talk about his pass catchers, because I think the takeaway from week 3 is that T. Higgins is a full-time player now. He actually led the team in wide receiver snaps. He got 2 touchdowns. He had a good amount of targets, led the team in air yards. Some of that might have been Darius Slay on A.J. Green. But look, A.J. Green, we've got 3 weeks, and he looks bad. How are we projecting these Bengals pass catchers?
Tyler Boyd is the automatic lock. He is the one. AJ Green, if you could sit him, I would not blame you, but I feel like in this matchup, you got to suck it up for one more week at least. I mean, I can't think of like what would be someone else. Would you like consider any of the guys we talked about in the Lions Cardinals game over AJ Green?
Do you mean like the Keyshawn Johnsons and Andy Isabellas, or?
Yeah.
No.
Marvin Jones?
No.
So I think you suck it up for one more week with AJ. And then for T. Higgins, I think it's a little bit of chasing points, but I feel like the future is very bright for him. So I feel like he's a hold. And if you can squeeze him in your lineup or you have to, it's not the worst matchup, obviously, against the Jaguars, but I feel like it's a little point chasey. Yeah,
it's definitely a little point chasey, but also like the volume behind it was there. Like I'm pretty sure he got 40% of the team air yards. Like that's not the 2 touchdowns definitely makes it feel point chasey, but I don't think it necessarily is. I think you could maybe just roll all 3 of them because they're clearly the guys right now. John Ross was a healthy scratch. Auden Tate, I think, only got 35% of the snaps, and Mike Thomas, who was weirdly involved in the first 2 weeks, wasn't really involved in week 3. So hopefully that continues because that'll make it a lot easier to predict. The last guy we need to talk about is Joe Mixon, who I know people are getting frustrated with, but look, the guy's getting 20 touches a game. You got to ride it.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like everyone, since I'm a Bengals fan, everyone asks me like, "What's up with Joe Mixon?" I'm just like, "Watch the fucking games, dude. He's just getting murdered. Like you can't ask this guy to do any more than he's given with. It's really rough to watch, and I just hope he finally has a breakout. But yeah, worst case scenario, this guy's getting 10 points for you every single week just off of volume. So blow-up games are there. I don't want to say he's a trade for candidate, but if someone's frustrated and wants to dump him, I think you should take advantage of it.
All right. I definitely agree with that. I agree with the buying low on him. If someone's like really, really frustrated with him. Let's pick this one. I will take Cincinnati.
Me too.
All right. Cleveland at Dallas. Dallas is a 4.5-point favorite. The over-under is 56. On the Cleveland side of the ball, they've had a very, very good past 2 weeks, but it's been in matchups that have been very much in their favor and matchups where they've been able to run the ball a lot. So Nick Chubb has been great. Kareem Hunt has also been good because they've just had enough opportunity. And the pass game has, for the most part, done nothing. I guess based on this over-under and this spread that people are expecting it to get into a shootout sort of situation, do you think there's any chance that Cleveland can just kind of dominate time of possession at all? Like Dallas's run defense isn't good, like
neither's their passing defense though. Like I don't know. I feel like this is just going to be a shootout. There's going to be a ton of points and they're going to run all over them, but I think they're going to get chunk plays. So I don't think they're going to necessarily destroy the clock like that either.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think my brain for like daily fantasy tournaments is like trying to convince me that Nick Chubb is going to be not owned and might go off. But I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah. I feel like he's going to be owned a lot.
With them as dogs?
Yeah. Nick Chubb is ridiculous, dude. And going up against Dallas, it's just – am I off on that?
I feel like he won't be.
Am I misreading it?
I feel like he won't be owned because they're dogs. I feel like he's only owned when they are favorites, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll figure that out tomorrow. I don't know. Like, I guess in this game you're playing, like for Cleveland, you're playing Chubb. You're playing Hunt as like a flex, and I think that's the correct call.
Yes.
Maybe even an RB2. And then are you playing Odell, and do you have any interest in Jarvis?
Not Jarvis, but Odell, yeah, I think you got to stick with. I remember last year it kind of got to this point where it's just like bad Odell games back to back to back to back. And I feel like this is a good Odell game. I would not sit him in a high over-under like this.
Yeah, you're right. The 56-point over-under leans towards a decent amount of scoring in this game. So I think Odell – and again, Dallas's pass defense is not good. So I think Odell is a good play here. Jarvis, I've like seen a little bit of like noise about, but I don't really get it. He only has 13 targets on the year. I'm trying to see if he like upped his targets a lot this past week or anything. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the box score. This is fucking great audio. While I am doing this, do you want to start talking about the Dallas side of the ball a little bit?
Yeah, I could do that. Play every single person you own. All right, Walsh, you find that shit yet?
I actually did. Jarvis had 4 targets this past game. Why the fuck are people on him? He's got 13 targets a year.
Yeah, he's not doing
on the year.
Not doing great. I feel like it might be the
just like the game environment.
Buy low. I don't even know. I don't even see like. Normally, I'm all over like the guys where it's just like, oh yeah, like this is a sneaky play or whatever. Like normally, I'm the guy who calls those out, and I just don't fucking see it here. And maybe I'll get because it's not going to happen. I don't know. It sucks because Jarvis is never a dude who's going to get dropped and you see on the waiver wire. So it's going to be someone you have to trade for. So I feel like everyone's all horned up for like a guy who's doing shitty for a buy low, and I just it's not Jarvis.
13 targets through 3 games. What the fuck are we talking about here? All right.
Nothing.
Yeah, with Dallas, it's, you play Dak, you play Zeke, you play Amari, you play Gallup in this matchup again. Gallup kind of came through after I called that last week and then completely faded him in DFS after getting cold feet on Saturday.
Classic.
And played a ton of CD, who
all right, we have to talk about that bullshit.
Yeah, we do, because Cedric Wilson got a lot of work and he got 2 touchdowns. And what was the deal with that?
I don't know. I don't think this ever happens again, and I think it's just going to bother people. So
did CD get hurt?
No, he did not. You have to stay on CD. Like, you just have to. Because if you let this game get to your head, I think it's going to fuck you. Because you have to play Cooper, you have to play Gallup, you have to play Lamb every single week. They throw so much. Their defense is terrible. They're always going to be in shootouts. Yeah,
no, I think you're right. And I think we can add to that Dalton Schultz, who now I believe has like 16 targets over the past 2 weeks with Blake Jarwin hurt. So at a tight end position where we're looking just for targets, basically, Dalton Schultz is an every week start until we say otherwise, I would say.
Yeah, very much agreed. Quick question. You're not going to do it. Like, if you're a Zeke owner, you're not going to do anything about it, but are you a little worried about his usage, involvement, or anything like that?
No, absolutely not. Oh God, I'm sorry. My TV unmuted for some reason. I have the Miami Lakers game on. Anyway, no, I don't think so at all. I think Zeke's like, he was good for the first 2 weeks. He wasn't good this past week. It was a better matchup for the past game than it was for Zeke. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I feel the same. It's just, I've seen a lot of fantasy analysts where they're just like, oh, worry about Zeke. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Dallas, but it's probably close as fuck.
I will take the Cleveland upset, and I'm going to convince myself to get on Nick Chubb in tournaments, I think. But
don't let that be me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely me just being an idiot, but we'll figure it out. All right, Minnesota at Houston. Houston is a 4-point favorite. with an over-under of 49.5. The story on Minnesota this past week was, one, Dalvin Cook broke out, and two, Justin Jefferson finally got the role that we thought he might get this season, and he went nuts with it. He had 175 receiving yards. 175 receiving yards.
Yeah. He went fucking nuts.
9 targets, 7 catches, 175, and a touchdown. Adam Thielen only got 3 catches for 29 yards, and he saved it with a touchdown. But Adam Thielen has still been like an air yards monster, so I'm not worried about it really too much. But, yeah, Jefferson put BC Johnson's ass on the bench where it belongs and really went nuts. Are you playing him this week against Houston?
I think I am, but again, it feels like the T. Higgins thing where it's like you're chasing points on a rookie breakout game. But I feel more comfortable playing Justin Jefferson than I do playing T. Higgins, if that makes sense.
I feel the opposite with those two. But do you want to bet on their fantasy points?
All right, let's do it. I don't even know, just straight up.
Yeah. Okay. Just put T. Higgins versus Justin Jefferson total fantasy points this week.
Okay, I got Jefferson then.
All right, I'll take Higgins. Suck my dick. All right. I agree with you though that he's not really a bad play, but he's not one that I'd go out of my way to make. Dalvin, I think, showed why people drafted him in the first round and is an obvious start. And then Adam Thielen, I just don't think you're sitting at this point. Am I off on any of those?
No, you nailed those.
All right. Houston side of the ball. This is really the first good matchup that Houston's got this year, I feel like.
Showed signs of life last week against the tough Steelers, man.
Yeah, they did. And I kind of like the way this team is trending because, Duke Johnson should come back this week, so that might throw a wrench in the David Johnson type of thing. But David Johnson has been like the workhorse. He's been getting all of the usage. So until Duke comes back and shows that he's going to take usage, I think he's an every week start no matter what. And then you've got the wide receiver rotation has gotten down to just Fuller, Cooks, and Cobb. And I like all three of them, in this matchup.
I'm less inclined to play Cobb, but I like Brandon Cooks and I like Fuller.
Okay, that's definitely fair. I mean, Cobb got a touchdown last week or –
he did pretty well, actually. Yeah, he did get the touchdown, but looked like a lot better than we were. Well, it was probably more like what we were hoping for. Underneath stuff, wound up breaking that route out.
Yeah, he got 4 targets, turned it into 4 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. So that's probably the max that you would expect him to get on the 4 targets.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right that Fuller and Cooks are the better plays. I don't hate Cobb, but if you were to make a comparison in this game, Jefferson or Cobb?
Oh, Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, who we taking here?
I'm going Texans.
Yeah, me too. Last game before we take a quick break, Seattle at Miami. Seattle is a 6.5-point favorite with an over-under of 53.5. This one's going to be fucking fun. I mean, Seattle is the with neutral game script is the pass heaviest team in the league right now.
As they should be.
So it's easy. Well, the thing that makes it tough this week is Chris Carson is, I believe, a game time decision, right?
So is Carlos Hyde. It's they're both questionable.
Pick up Travis Homer?
Maybe at
DJ Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, just check it out. I mean, Chris Carson was able to put work in this week at practice. Same thing with Hyde. It's just this weird, they're both questionable game time decision shit, so keep your eye on it. Travis Homer could legitimately become something if they're both out. Highly unlikely, but again, pay the fuck attention. But on Seattle's side, straight up, always Wilson, always Metcalf, always Lockett.
Yeah, it's so easy. I love this team. They're
nasty.
so fun. They're so easy to predict for fantasy. Other guys are going to get peripheral touchdowns, just the random wide receiver or tight end or whatever. But it doesn't matter because DK and Lockett are still going to eat. DK fumbled a ball at the 2-yard line on an easy touchdown and still had like 20 fantasy points like this past week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're great. I'm excited for this game because the opposite side of it is that their pass defense sucks, and it particularly sucks to the wide receivers, which means Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and I know he's a tight end, but I've said it for the past couple of weeks. He's playing in the slot. He's their slot receiver. Mike Gesicki are all just like fucking smashes this week, particularly Parker, who should just go the fuck off.
Yeah, Parker's definitely going to go nuts. I'd be not scared, but I would less confident in Preston Williams. He does get the targets, but it's a little sketchy plugging him into your lineup.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Seattle's given up over 1,000 yards receiving to wide receivers in the first 3 games of the year. Like, it's not all going to go to Parker, you know, and maybe some of it goes to Gesicki, maybe some of it to Isaiah Ford, Jakeem Grant, whoever else. But, you know, not that you need to play Preston Williams, but I don't think he's a bad play by any means.
Preston Williams or Marvin Jones?
Preston Williams.
If all the Cardinals guys are out, Isabella or what's his name? Keyshawn over Preston Williams.
That's closer. Probably Preston Williams. I don't know. That one's tough.
There's also a lot of shit going on with that one.
Yeah. But you get the point here. Miami's going to be in a good spot here, and we like it in this matchup. The question, I think, for Miami comes with Myles Gaskin, who has clearly taken the lead in the what?
Miles the Fridge Gaskin.
Myles the Fridge Gaskin. You're right. I'm sorry. That's funny, literally to only us. Anyway, Myles the Fridge Gaskin has clearly taken the lead in this backfield. He had 22 carries and 6 targets this past week. He looks
great, man. He looks awesome.
He really does. And the only issue is that Jordan Howard leads the league in carries inside the 5-yard line. They
brought that motherfucker in for draft picks, I believe. I don't know. They brought him in, so they're just like, come on.
He had 4 snaps this past week, and they were all carries inside the 5-yard line.
I think he has a touchdown in every game, but he just has 1 yard in every game.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like it's fullback usage, like 90s fullback usage. You know. Anyway, is Gaskin a guy that you start in this matchup?
I don't feel good about it, but sure, with the over-under and the amount of points probably going around, so sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he's like a fine start as a flex, in the same sort of level as like a Jerick McKinnon or like a David Montgomery or like
he's a low 2.
Yeah. I think that's probably fine for him this week. Okay, who are we taking in this game?
I'm gonna go Seattle. Don't do it.
Okay, I'll go Seattle.
It's like the thing. I thought this spread was going to be like -10 Seattle, but it is close, and I don't know. I'm slamming that.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to some heavy spreads in the second half of this podcast. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. I need to piss like a racehorse.
All right.
All right, guys, we are back. But before we jump into the games, I got one more thing I got to tell you about. Let's see here. Vin, what season is it right now?
Fucking winning season.
That's right. Winning season has returned at my bookie, and winning season means doubling your first deposit. Winning season means insane props, epic bonuses, and the craziest cross-sport wagers. Because at my bookie, winning season means watching live sports and betting live sports all season long. So rejoice, the NFL has returned, which means that action-packed Sundays and huge cash prizes have returned. So get in on the action by using promo code Let's Talk and double your first deposit. New players get up to $1,000 in free play, designed to add more excitement to the sports you love and the games you bet. So bet with the best this NFL season for your chance to win big. Use that promo code Let's Talk and double your first deposit. Your winning season begins today, only at MyBookie. I have been putting too much money on MyBookie recently. It has been, Thursday. Thursday, I hit the defense and special teams touchdown prop. I missed parlaying on the Jerry Jeudy, Chris Hogan over. So, you win some, you lose some, but it makes the game a fucking lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, hitting on the defense one is great. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Did you end up hitting on that Basham bet last night? Okay.
Basham did not get a sack.
Yeah.
I can't believe that, dude.
That was very, very funny. I'll tell this story for the listeners. In the middle of the day, we have a group text with Vinny, myself, and a couple others from the podcast, a couple others not from the podcast, discussing our gambling interests, basically.
Degenerates.
Which we have been doing a lot of lately. It's winning season on MyBookie, so, you got to. And Vinny, midway through the day, just goes, oh, fuck, I misclicked, and I bet $50 on Terrell Basham to get a sack tonight. And he has 5 sacks in his 5-year NFL career. And surprise, surprise, he did not get a sack. I think he got 2 unnecessary roughness penalties.
So right out the gate, like first drive, he just like leads with his head, like the ball was out for 3 seconds, like just pops. Oh my God, it was rough, man.
Yeah. So that didn't work, but yeah, we support gambling on games. It's a ton of fun. Definitely recommend it unless you have a problem. But if you don't, and none of us do, because we're all well-adjusted adults.
That's right.
I
gamble within my means.
Yeah, me too. I won $16,000 a couple weeks ago, so my means have gone up for
that's right.
That, but
and that's why you should gamble, so your means get higher, and then you can just keep doing it.
It's the best advice in terms of the middle of the pandemic. Anyway, let's get into these last 7 games that we got to cover, and we'll talk a little bit about the gambling plays that we're going to make during those. But let's start with the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Not really a game that we're trying to do too much with for fantasy. Tampa Bay's a 7-point favorite with an over-under of 43. The Chargers with Herbert, I feel like, again, and particularly with the Mike Williams injury, I feel like it's gotten easy. And this is a bad matchup overall. But the Chargers are just play Eckler, play Keenan, and play Henry, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. That's all you can hope for. And Herbert looks fun, but I think I really think they get fucked up this game. I think Tampa Bay's defense really messes Herbert up, but I feel like those guys could all have playable games.
Tampa Bay's got no offense though right now, and we'll get into that in a second. But
I think they'll be fine. But they are doing it very weirdly. Like Tom Brady threw for over 300 yards last week, and like Mike Evans had 2 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're a very strange offense. It's very, very.
He's going to need a lot more than that, because I guess we'll just go to their side of the ball. But Chris Godwin sidelined with a hamstring injury right now, going to miss this week. Scotty Miller did not practice. I don't know what his status is for this week.
I think it's questionable.
Leonard Fournette did not practice on Thursday.
Leonard Fournette is out.
Is Justin Watson going to play, or are we?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, so does that mean we're just playing Mike Evans and Rojo and like slamming those two if that's the case?
Yes. Yeah, that is very much the case. They're going to have to become this one-dimensional offense that I don't think we've been waiting to see. It's kind of a deal of like we're waiting for this offense to boom, and maybe if they have just these 3 guys in place that they can get something rolling like that. I don't know. It sounds very weird to say, but I think their spread offense was kind of hurting them.
Okay, and is there any interest in an O.J. Howard or a Gronk this week?
So Gronk actually had his best game so far. With the guys out, I wouldn't blame you for either play. I would lean towards Gronk, which is disgusting, but that's really all I got. Like they're both. It makes me sick to play either, but I guess the Gronk side of it is beneficial.
Yeah, to me, this seems like, and I mean, we know that the Chargers are a team that does this anyway, but they're going to want to slow the game down, right?
I mean, they're going to try, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I see this as pretty low scoring, but again, I think Mike Evans and Rojo are probably must plays. And yeah, like at tight end, obviously it's too late to talk about Chris Herndon, but I'm trying to think of like other guys. You're playing Gesicki over either Gronk or
100%,
right?
100%.
Okay. I'm trying to look at what about like Dalton Schultz?
No, Dalton Schultz.
Okay. Hawkinson. Mo Alley Cox. There we go. That's a good one.
Yeah, here we go.
Jimmy Graham, maybe.
I would take Jimmy Graham. Out of those three, if we're doing a 3-pick, Jimmy Graham there.
Well, no, then Mo Alley Cox versus either Howard or Gronk.
I'll go Gronk.
Okay. I think I go Howard over Gronk. But do you want to bet on this too?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Okay.
I'll take Gronk. Gronk with more points than OJ Howard straight up.
Yeah. Are we doing PPR or half PPR? Half. Okay. And that's for the other one too, for the T. Higgins versus Justin Jefferson as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll take Howard there.
Okay. So have we just established that they're kind of both plays, but we don't want to make it if we don't have to?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we established.
Sure.
All right. Well, fair enough. Who are you taking in this one?
Bucks. I really think that they fuck the Chargers up. I'm
going to take a Chargers upset. Let's go.
Okay.
The Chargers defense is pretty hurt though. That might have been a dumb take.
But Joey Bosa might sack Tom Brady 5 times.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I think I would be about that. All right, let's move on to Baltimore at Washington. What a game we have here. Baltimore is a 14-point favorite with an over-under of 45.5 points. Baltimore just kind of got embarrassed on Monday night, right?
I think they might cover this over by themselves.
So where do we think the offense is going to come from here? Because Washington's defense hasn't been bad, but they're also not going to be with Chase Young this week.
Dude, it's all going to be Lamar. It's going to be Lamar. I think Hollywood Brown goes the fuck off, and I think Mark Ingram has a huge bounce-back game. I just think it's the big three for them.
Okay, so see, I feel like this might just be a running game week for them where just maybe 2 out of those 3 running backs go nuts, but I don't know. I guess it would probably be Ingram and Edwards if we're thinking just rushing attempts, because those 2 have led in rushing attempts over Dobbins for the season. But yeah,
I think they want to feel themselves this game. I think they just want to fuck a bad team up. I think they want to get some aggression out. I think they want to establish themselves as a dominant team again. They're just going to steamroll the Washington football team. That's just in the way. It's a bad spot for them, and I think Baltimore's just going to fuck them up frustration wise. Okay,
so the person that we haven't mentioned on Baltimore's side is Mark Andrews, who did not come through at all.
Yeah, he's definitely – you have to play him.
Yeah, I mean, in the one league that I have him, I went into Monday night down 33, full PPR, had Tyreek and Mark Andrews. And when, Mark Andrews just was not on the same page as Lamar the entire night. It seemed like Lamar was
dropped a bunch,
just missing him, or he was dropping balls. When he dropped that touchdown, I was like, ah, shit.
It's over.
And then that touchdown went to Nick Boyle, and I started pumping my fist, and then I saw the 6 instead of the 9 on the jersey, and I was like, God damn it.
There's nothing worse than that ever. When it's a similar jersey number of a tight end or wide receiver, you're just are you fucking kidding me?
I was just big white tight end. That's Mark Andrews, and it's fucking Nick Boyle instead. But hey, what can you do? I lost by 7 points. put up the second highest score in the league, I think, or something like that, and lost. But whatever. Mark Andrews. I'm not as confident on you as you about like this just being like a smash game for all of them. But I do think, okay, all right, I'll take it.
No, you can continue though. I don't.
No, I mean, I think you're not sitting Mark Andrews, and you're probably not sitting Hollywood. So yeah, might as well just continue with it. And if you're going to play a running back, it's probably Ingram. So
yeah. I think it's a fucking problem.
All right, Washington side of the ball, they are also hurt. I believe McLaurin is questionable. Steven Sims is out. Is this the Logan Thomas breakout game?
I don't think so. Do you?
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, so here's the stat that I saw this week, which was because Logan Thomas to me has been extremely puzzling in terms of usage. He's been like one of the top tight ends in the league.
It's like 8 targets a game.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Like and getting like 3 for 43 in like each game, and like that's it. So I looked into it a bit more, and Logan Thomas has 50% of his balls by Pro Football Focus. 50% of the passes thrown to him have been deemed catchable. Whereas every other receiver on Washington has had at least a 70% catchable ball rate, and that's including their wide receivers who are going deep more. So to me, I think he's just got unlucky where Dwayne Haskins hasn't hit him.
No, it's not unlucky. Dwayne Haskins just sucks, man.
But if every other receiver on the team has over a 70% catchable ball rate, then even if Dwayne Haskins sucks, the 50% one should come up, right? Because every other receiver is getting more catchable balls. Like, unless Dwayne Haskins just can't make throws to the middle of the field, which normally that's not the problem. The problem is the outside of the field or deep. Then
against the Ravens, you think he's going to have this massive blow-up game?
I don't think he's going to have a blow-up game. I just think like he's going to
go over 50 yards.
Yeah, he's going to have a good game. Because he's getting all these targets, and McLaurin's not fully healthy. Steven Sims is out. Dontrell Inman isn't going to catch 2 touchdowns every game.
I'll make another bet. Say how many points you think Logan Thomas could have in this game, and I will take the under.
In half-point PPR?
Yeah.
Is 12 a fair number?
12 and a half?
Sure.
Or you want to do 11? I'll do 11 and a half too.
Yeah, let's do 11 and a half then.
I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I will take the under on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like double digits is like going to happen this game, even without a touchdown.
Okay. I like. Do you think that Dwayne Haskins finishes this game?
Why? Because he gets hurt or because he's bad?
I think Ron is ready to take him out.
And put in who? Kyle Allen?
Alex Smith, maybe.
Is Alex Smith like fully healthy and can go? Because that would be really inspirational.
I don't know about fully, but I mean, like Dwayne Haskins is on the shortest leash, man. He's not playing well, and I think Ron is very frustrated.
He just comes in and immediately, like Matt Judon, breaks his knee again or whatever.
Oh, stop. No. Stop. Alex Smith is the best. He deserves the best.
Yeah,
I hope Alex Smith comes in and is like.
I feel bad about making that joke. Yeah, I do love Alex Smith. I think he's had a very, very, very good and very underrated. Maybe not underrated, but just like a very solid NFL career.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, don't make jokes, dude. That was offensive.
You're right.
I don't know. I'm worried about Haskins.
So you taking Baltimore here or what?
Yeah. There's what is it? Negative. They're giving 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably tease that with like 20, possibly.
We didn't really talk about the rest of the guys, but if McLaurin goes, are you on him?
No,
I'm
not.
Yeah, no. Like the Ravens secondary is good.
If you have no choice, sure. But any excuse, man. I'd rather play like Hunter Renfrow, who we didn't get to yet, of course, over him. I'd probably play Marvin Jones over him.
Okay.
Who I've said a million times this podcast.
What about Antonio Gibson, who has kind of like evolved into a good role, it seems?
This is not the time. But I do like it going forward. I think he's going to get the bulk now, but definitely not in this matchup.
Okay, and I actually didn't realize this. He only had 39% of the snaps this past week. I assumed that was more, I think, because he got in the end zone. So yeah, I think you're right there. I think it's for me, it's Logan Thomas, and that's about it for this game. Definitely going to take Baltimore. Let's move on to the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams. Another not close game in terms of the spread. 12.5 points in favor of the Rams. The over-under here is 48, so a bit higher. And, the Giants are hurt as fuck too. I don't really know, even who their starting wide receivers are going to be, right? Or is this?
I think it's just Tate and Slayton. And Damian Ratley.
Okay. Shepard's out for a while, or is that?
Shepard's on IR. I think it's the mini one though, so he could come back in
week 6.
Yeah.
Week 6 is when he can come back. Okay. So we're looking at, for the skill positions, we're looking at, Ingram. We're looking at Slayton and Tate. I don't know if I want to play anyone on the Giants. Is that the wrong take?
No, I think it's the right take. You got Darius Slayton. He's probably going to be on Ramsey. He's probably a 0. Tate, you don't want to play at all. He can get whatever over the middle, but we haven't exactly seen that beneficial to Evan Ingram status either. So it just gets me worried about everybody.
And in terms of the running backs, they split between Gallman, Freeman, and then Dion Lewis got barely any work in my starting lineup.
Way to go.
Yeah, no, that fucking sucked. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's really anyone for the Giants. Yeah, I brought this. Did I bring this up to you? What? Do you think it's possible that the Niners lead the NFL in wins at MetLife Stadium this year?
Oh, with 2?
They have 2 of them.
You did say, yeah. I really think that could be very possible. What'd you say? It was if it was plus 150, you'd take it?
I think at plus 200, I would take it.
I'd take it at 150.
The Giants and the Jets are both fucking terrible, and they don't seem like they're getting any better. So, yeah. What about the Rams side of the ball, though? Because we just saw big games from Cooper Kupp, which I called, Robert Woods, and Darrell Henderson, or Darrell Henderson. I forget which one it is.
I like saying Darrell.
Yeah, me too, actually. So Darrell Henderson. Do you see any of that? Where's the offense coming from here?
I'm playing Henderson no matter what, just because he's completely seated the number 1 spot there. Cam Akers is out. Malcolm Brown's going to be backing him up. Barely played last week, but I guess could take a few snaps, but nothing crazy.
Dude, he had half snaps this past week. He just didn't get any of the actual work.
I meant carries. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. But what we saw the 49ers do, and they are one of the best rushing teams and one of the better coach teams in the NFL, were able to just fuck the Giants up in the run game. So I think Henderson is a plug and play. Would not play Malcolm Brown, though, from that standpoint. And then you're playing Cooper Kupp, you're playing Woods, because I think Jared Goff is also going to have a great game throwing all over the Giants.
Okay, and then the last guy that we need to talk about is Higbee, who is, still performing very well, but I feel like some of his peripheral, his route running numbers are not as good. But again, it's tight end, so you kind of take what you can get here. Do we like Higbee in this matchup?
Yes. I consider Higbee every week a tier below Gesicki at all times.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have trouble with it. He's even in that game where he scored the 3 touchdowns, he only had 5 targets. He's only got 11 targets on the whole year so far. I try and look for that 6 targets a game. I know it's hard to find, particularly it seems like this year, but Higbee isn't even – a
little bit of fool's gold?
I mean, it might be, but also they're a 12.5-point favorite against the Giants, and they seem to like throwing to him in the end zone. So, I don't know. I have trouble really recommending Higbee, but also it's not the worst play that you could make.
Yeah, I agree.
So you taking the Giants here or what?
Lock it in.
All right, we're both taking the Giants. That's not true. We're both going to take the Rams, I think. And we're going to move on to an interesting matchup, the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 7-point favorite with an over-under of 53. The Patriots really pissed me off this past week because they fucked up the Raiders really bad, and that obviously sucked. But they did it by giving all the fantasy points to Rex Burkhead as opposed to Cam Newton. And that was one where me and you talked about this last week, and I was like, maybe I'll pick up Rex Burkhead at some point. And you basically told me to fuck off. And that's not saying that you were wrong because.
Oh, I said, how could you feel good about picking up Rex Burkhead, putting him in your lineup and leaving it until game time? It's never a good feeling.
Yeah. And that should have been like a DFS tournament play is what it should have been, as opposed to anything else. And I'm pretty sure the guy who won the Millionaire Maker had Rex Burkhead in his lineup, so kudos. But yeah, Cam didn't do jack shit after 2 weeks of being a fantasy quarterback one. And none of the wide receivers really did anything either. So now with James White coming back, he rejoined the team, and I believe he's supposed to play this week. And you also have Damian Harris eligible to return.
It's over.
I don't get what I'm supposed to do with anyone on the Patriots.
That was the Burkhead game. We missed it. That's probably my worst call, but you were slightly on it. And then it's just Michelle also had a good game though. But yeah, I mean, everybody back at full force means it's just going to be a fucking rotation. So we're at a loss right now. I mean, James White, storyline wise with, coming back and everything is great, but I don't know if he's necessarily playable.
In our league, in our big league, I think I'm going to have to play him or Rex Burkhead, which is unfortunate. But and you want to hear something that will make you question just everything in terms of this.
Even more so than now.
It was the Burkhead game, and Sony Michel also went over 100 yards. And you know who led the team in carries? J.J. Taylor.
What?
J.J. Taylor had 11 carries for 43 yards. Sony Michel had 9.
Who that is.
He's a rookie.
Oh my God. What are they doing all the time?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Edelman had his 6 targets.
Bad game though.
Yeah.
They didn't need him. Honestly, they didn't.
I don't know what to do with the Patriots. I'm pissed that I own any of them.
So if you look at it from what probably should happen, the Chiefs are undeniable on offense. They will probably go up in this game, you would think. Patriots defense is not what it was. They're pretty hurt too. So you got to think that Julian Edelman's probably going to be more involved, better than last week, I would think. Cam Newton's it's probably going to be similar to the Seahawks game where he had to throw a lot more.
Okay, so we like that then. And we like Julian Edelman for that. And we like maybe N'Keal Harry for that. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. Yeah, N'Keal Harry, he probably works into that conversation where we're talking about the Marvin Jones, the Keyshawn Johnsons, if they're, all things land that way kind of deal.
So then at running back, do we like Burkhead over White, or are we just getting into completely unknown territory based on White coming back and us not knowing how much he's going to be used?
That's really unknown, but I guess I would lean White just because I think he's a much better player.
That's what I currently have in my lineup in the situation where I literally need to make that decision. So thank you.
I guess that's, either positive or negative reinforcement.
I can't believe last Friday I was talking about how maybe Damiere Byrd should be a play. And then this week we're like, fuck, I don't know.
This is nuts. It's weird because you don't know what the fuck you're going to get.
Yeah. Patriots stuff, Patriots problems, hashtag. Let's move to the Chiefs side of the ball where Patrick Mahomes is still a baller, obviously.
It's okay.
Yeah, I guess he's all right or whatever. And I think within this offense, Tyreek's doing Tyreek shit sometimes. He's getting his big plays, and obviously you're playing Tyreek. Travis Kelce is the guy who's been targeted the most. And then Sammy Watkins has been pretty usable this year.
In a minimalist way. He's a floor play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's fine. And I think that's a good way to use him. The question is, I guess, like Mecole Hardman had 6 targets this past week. He got in the end zone. Do we like Mecole Hardman at all in this matchup?
I don't really like playing the ancillary pieces in their wide receiver little stable here. Like I hate when Demarcus Robinson is good. I think Mecole Hardman is good, but I hate playing them like fantasy wise. I think just what you're always looking to do is Hill and Sammy. I don't really like getting too cute with those two.
Yeah, I mean, you're throwing a dart, right, is what you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Mecole Hardman did get outsnapped by Demarcus Robinson this past week, 39% to 51%. So, you don't generally want –
Robinson dropped another touchdown, I think, too.
That's like the bizarre thing with him. It's like he goes out there and he must be like great at blocking or like great at like dicking down Andy Reid's wife like while he watches and like he's into that kind of thing or something. Because like why else is he out there on the field over Mecole Hardman, dude? I don't get it. But
they have I feel like when they get to the opponent's 30, they literally have a dialed up play action pass for Robinson to drop a touchdown every time.
And then like twice a year he catches it and it's like, fuck, should have played DeMarcus Robinson, I guess. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess the guy we haven't talked about is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The usage is still there. And every week.
Yeah. I also like still saying Helaire, even though it's definitely Elaire.
So Steve
Levy is an ass, dude. He fucking sucked, dude. That made me hate it even more. So like, I get
Edwards, Elaire. I think Edwards-Helaire like kind of flows off the tongue if you
it
say
does,
it that way. But without the H, but like not with the E. I feel like that's the way that makes the most sense and also sounds the most Cajun, which I think is what they're going for because he went to LSU, so I assume he's like from that area. I don't know fully.
I'm not sure.
This is maybe making like assumptions getting me into like problematic territory, but like Edwards-Helaire sounds like a guy on Bourbon Street, like it's so I don't know.
Helaire Street. Yeah, not Elaire, Steve Levy, you fucking suit.
My name is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I love having some bourbon down in New Orleans,
Raw fish for me. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Elaire.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway.
Sit Steve Levy this week.
Yeah. Overall, though, the Monday Night Football crew has been pretty good, I will say.
I miss Boog. I'll say it over and over, man.
I hate you, man. It's literally the episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets the crayon removed from his brain and then decide he wants it back in there because he hates being smart. That's you missing Booger.
After I heard Elaire 19 times, I want that crayon. I want 3 crayons in my brain.
All right, fair enough. Who are we taking here?
This is probably the toughest game of the week, but I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. I don't think it's close. Fuck the Patriots.
Whoa.
Buffalo?
You don't even think it's like close or?
No.
Whoa.
The Chiefs are a way better team than the Patriots are.
My goodness. Okay. Didn't expect that.
Buffalo at Las Vegas. Buffalo is a 3-point favorite with an over-under of 52.5. So we're looking at potentially another game that might shoot out here. And Buffalo has been great so far this year throwing the ball. I should know Zach Moss's status, and I don't. But
he's questionable.
He's questionable? Okay. Let's talk about Josh Allen, who is an MVP candidate.
He's right behind Wilson, man.
Literally number 2 right now.
It's not a joke. It's not an overestimation. It's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's been absolutely great. He's throwing the ball. He's running the ball. He's a great fantasy asset. You need to be playing him. So with his pass catchers, John Brown got removed from the injury report, so he's expected to play again. Steph Diggs has been spectacular so far this year.
What we wanted, and it just hit. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, if John Brown wasn't going to play, we would have had to have a conversation about Beasley and Gabriel Davis, I think. But
now we don't.
Yeah, now I think it's just those guys, and it's pretty easy. Yeah, so do what you will with that. And then at the running back position, Zach Moss is questionable, as you said. Devin Singletary, I think, would be a spectacular start if Zach Moss does not go. And if he does go, I think he's still a good start. But I would shy away from Zach Moss even if he does
go. How come? I can't figure that out, actually. I have no idea.
Just because he might get less work coming off the injury. That's kind of my only rationale there is like okay. Zach Moss is kind of a low ceiling, low floor guy to begin with. And if he's coming off an injury, I want to see him do it for a week, even though it's a good matchup.
Okay. Okay. I accept.
Alrighty then. Let's move to the Raiders side of the ball. The Raiders looked really bad this past week, but looked pretty good the 2 weeks before. And I've been banging this drum, and I feel like it hasn't been picked up anywhere big. But slot receivers against Buffalo,
they shred,
are a fucking thing. I mentioned it before with Cooper Kupp. It's a thing. Like it, and
Hunter Renfrow is going to destroy.
So in week 3, the slot snaps were split about 60-40 between Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. So I think the real play here is Darren Waller.
Because he's better.
Yes.
Okay. It's just like Zay Jones and Aguilar are not really threats. They will be on the outside, but like how many 4 or 3 wide receiver sets are the Raiders going to run with like this limited offense with Ruggs and Edwards out?
Yeah, I mean, there's no one to run routes on the outside of, like you said, Zay Jones and Aguilar. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate Renfrow. I definitely like Waller, and Josh Jacobs is an every week start pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all great plays. I don't think there's a bad play out of your normal suspects. I guess Renfrow wouldn't be, but now that it's elevated with the other guys out, I think the big 3 there, Renfrow, Waller, and Jacobs.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Play all of them. Don't play Carr. I think that's about it. Who you got in this one?
Sorry, man. I got to go Bills.
I'm taking the Bills, too. I love Josh Allen.
Bills are good. Bills are very, very good.
The Bills are good. I'm going to move to Buffalo. I'm going to hang out with Every Time I Die and become a Bills fan and throw myself through tables every week. I think that's going to be my new thing.
Football, wrestling, metal.
The 3 greatest things in the world.
That's all we want. That's all we like.
Yeah.
Actually, right. when do the Bills play the Patriots out of like just weird curiosity?
Oh, I don't know. Why are you asking that? Oh, to see who's going to like win this division.
Oh man, they don't play them till November 1st.
The Bills are going to win this division. It's the Bills' year, dude.
I just think that game is going to be like awesome. The first one they play. Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, no, that is going to be.
It's at 1:00. That has to change.
Yeah, why would you not make that like a night game? I guess when they made the schedule, they didn't know Cam Newton was going to be on New England. But anyway,
which is fair.
Let's go to a night game and talk about the Philadelphia Eagles at the San Francisco 49ers, a game where the Niners are a 7-point favorite with an over-under of 46. The Eagles have been fucking terrible.
They're dog shit.
Carson Wentz is bad.
I'm not ready to like quit him completely, but he has not looked good. I bet
on him to win MVP this year, and he is the worst quarterback in the league.
What about Dak? I thought you did. I
bet on both of them.
Oh, you're just an idiot.
I mean, hedge my shit, dude. Like,
you didn't hedge anything. That was terrible. 2 NFC East quarterbacks.
Yeah,
terrible hedge.
2 long shots for that. Yeah, no, you're right. Anyway, you're a terrible hedge.
You're a terrible hedge. What?
Philadelphia. They're bad and they're hurt.
Yes.
So what do we do with this? Like, do we want to play anyone? Obviously, we're not playing Wentz. Miles Sanders, I think, is an every week start.
He looks very good, too. He looks very good. I think he's been close to 100 yards every game that he's been healthy and active. I think literally 95 in the last 2 games. So you're always playing him. He's been around that 18, 20 touch mark. So you can't sit him. It's I guess it's a tough matchup. I mean, San Francisco's very hurt, but time and time again, I'll always bring this up. They are the best coached team in the NFL. They know what the fuck they are doing. They figure things out. So their defense is still very good.
Yeah, no, they're not a bad team. It's not a good matchup, at least, is what I would say. For the Philadelphia pass catchers, Goddard out, Deshaun Jackson out. So we are looking at Zach Ertz once again, like backdooring his way via injury into like 15 targets a game, I think.
That's the best Zach Ertz.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's obviously a must start, and I think your expectations should be sky high for him this week. And then the wide receiver core is going to be Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and John Hightower. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Alshon's still out. Not touching those guys.
I like John Hightower, as a prospect. Greg Ward has done it as a slot receiver before.
I was going to say, Greg Ward's probably the play, but what kind of fucking play is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do one, Greg Ward's definitely the floor play. I think John Hightower is the ceiling play. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is bad. Yeah, that's kind of like all I got on that.
They took Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
That is...
I just say that because Christopher, huge Eagle fan, my brother, always brings that up. And I'm just like, that sucks. Stop repeating that to people.
Because theoretically they should be similar players, but it's like Arcega-Whiteside is just terrible and Metcalf is like so good. Man. All right, let's talk about the San Francisco side of the ball. Nick Mullins will be starting at quarterback this week again. The good news for their pass catching core is they get Kittle back and they get Deebo Samuel back. So
love that.
Brandon Ayuk just had a good week. I think you
love that.
You love that, but you also don't want to start him this week because you want to take a week to see what the offense looks like with these 2 other players back involved. I think you start Kittle. I think you don't start Deebo.
Okay. I'll bite, yeah. You want to see what he looks like. I get that. Do you play Brandon Ayuk, though?
No.
Okay, nobody?
I think you don't start either of the wide receivers. You start Kittle because he's a must-start every week when he's playing.
Yeah. If he's active, you play.
And then I think the other play you make is Jerick McKinnon, mostly because I have to. But I think it's a good play. He looked really good. He got, I think, 17 touches this past week. And I know Jeff Wilson was very involved as well. But McKinnon, to me, is their number 1 running back. He's the guy who's going to get the passing down work, so he's got a built-in floor a little bit. And I think he's a very good start this week.
I don't know about very good, just because the Eagles, the one thing they have done well is like stop the rush. So they've been a little better at that. But again, 49ers are better than most teams at getting it done in a strategic way. So I don't know. My brain's having a problem with that one. I don't know if he's a very good play, but if you have to do it, I have no problem with it.
Okay. I think that's a fair take. Who you got in this one?
49ers, man. Nick Mullins. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely the 49ers. All right, Monday night game, Atlanta at Green Bay. Green Bay is a 7-point favorite with an over-under of 56.5. I wonder if that's changed since I wrote it down.
I could check.
Because since then, I mean, Green Bay's offense is kind of like down to it, Like, is Devontae Adams going to play? Are we...
he's trending towards, and nothing's changed. The over/under has gone up a half point to 57. Still Green Bay by 7 though.
So Devontae practiced today, so that's good.
Yeah, he's been trending towards going, but being on Monday sucks.
Okay, because the other news is that Alan Lazard is out for the foreseeable future, and then on the Falcons,
6 to 8 weeks actually.
Yeah, that's a lot, which is unfortunate because he just had a great game. And then on the Falcons side, both Ridley and Julio were limited in this game, and I actually didn't see Russell Gage's status because he got concussed this past week. So I am checking right now, and he practiced, so it looks like he should be okay. So let's talk about Atlanta then. This feels like a good spot for Matt Ryan with that over-under, but like intuitively, it doesn't feel that good with all of his receivers hurt.
Right, and we saw that in the Bears game, dude. That really stifled him. Calvin Ridley left. Julio Jones obviously not available. Had a tough go. So I agree. I think I'd rather play Stafford safely than have to wait until Monday for everybody's status and just kind of clutch onto that Ryan play. I'm making a commitment Sunday afternoon, early afternoon.
Yeah, and I think part of my thinking was also that Hayden Hurst would step up, and he really didn't. He only had 3 targets. Luckily, he caught one of them for a 1-yard touchdown, so it didn't fuck me.
That's all you need.
But yeah, I mean, you've got Olamide Zaccheaus getting 6 targets in this game.
Way to nail that name too.
Is that how it's pronounced? I was kind of just hoping that was how it's pronounced. But
I mean, I think you nailed it. So,
well, thank you.
Well, I got it.
Looking at the rest of their team. So if Calvin Ridley goes, I mean, he's fantasy wide receiver number 1 this year. He's obviously a play. Julio is obviously a play. If Russell Gage goes, which it seems like he's going to, and the other 2 are also healthy, are you playing him in this matchup?
So, I mean, if you're committing to the Russell Gage play, I think you have the upside of they're both going to be kind of limited as in Julio Jones and Ridley. So if you're waiting on a Russell Gage play that long, I feel like you have nothing but upside regardless. So I like Russell Gage the most out of these 3 wide receivers, as crazy as that sounds.
Okay, that's fair. No, I mean, it's definitely not the chalk take, I wouldn't think. But
no, I mean, what I said, it sounds so stupid, but Julio is very limited. Calvin Ridley just left with the injury. Russell Gage seems to be the safest option right now. So at worst, Russell Gage is the number 2.
And he could eat targets in this game for sure.
And he's been good.
Yeah, he has been. At the running back position, Todd Gurley finally had a good game in week 3, but also he kind of seceded a lot of work to Brian Hill, who had 9 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. Also
on
added
that one play, it's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about him.
Okay, so you're very much on team. It doesn't matter, and don't worry about Brian Hill.
At all. Anyone that picked up Brian Hill, it's wishful thinking. I think Todd Gurley has a great game here, especially against the Packers, rush D.
Okay, fair enough. I don't disagree. I also think Brian Hill sucks because
he does suck.
I played him last year in DFS 1 week and he sucked. So I think he sucks forever now. On the Green Bay side of the ball, Aaron Jones with Devontae Adams back is no longer their number 1 option, but he's an obvious play here, right?
Yeah. He's done way more than I thought he would. I keep trying to say he's not going to be that great, and he just keeps being great.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. He's a spectacular football player and an obvious play in this situation. I guess we need to talk about. Well, we don't need to talk about Devontae Adams. If he goes, then he's a play. But after that, we have MVS, Darius Shepard. I'm not sure really who is after that. Do you have any interest in ancillary Packers wide receivers?
No. Just
I was
Adams. MVS maybe? I'd rather play Russell Gage than MVS.
Yeah, I don't think that's the wrong take. I was kind of hoping they had a guy on their I think
practice squad.
Their practice squad for a little bit named Reggie Begelton.
That is that dude's name.
He's a former Lamar Cardinal, Peckham Cards, and used to catch passes from one of my best friends, Doug Pruitt.
Let's go, Doug.
At Lamar University. So when he got like signed to the team or whatever, Dougie was like, "Hey, this is my guy. Like I used to throw to him," and we were all just like, "Oh shit!" Like it might happen. And like now everyone's gotten hurt, and he's still not gotten playing time. So,
dude, if Reggie Bagleton becomes a thing, that is such a massive, like, if you just have a bagel shop, that is your guy. Like he is the spokesman. I'm Reggie Bagleton. I support Bageltown. It's just like, yeah, of fucking course you do, dude.
Yeah, that would be perfect because Dougie's marrying a girl from Milwaukee, so we're gonna move. Me and him are gonna go open a bagel shop back there. But anyway,
Reggie
Bagleton, and I support Bageltown by Doug and Walsh.
It writes itself. It's beautiful.
The last guy we need to talk about is my boy Big Bob Tonyan at the tight end.
Yes.
5 targets this past week, turned it into 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Like we said, they're depleted. I think it's like a decent start.
I'm out. I'll take Mercedes Lewis having more points.
Mercedes Lewis.
Do it, pussy.
Okay.
All right. Lock it
All
in.
right. So we have 4 bets on this podcast, right?
Possibly 5.
All right. We'll figure this out after the or off the air afterwards. But I think that's about going to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sticking with us for the week 4 preview. For week 5, hopefully we will be back with the separate 2 shows because this was a lot.
This easily 2 hours. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah, really, definitely 2 hours. But hey, what can you do? It's what needs to happen sometimes. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. Vin, you got any last words for the people before we sign off?
This is separation week. So after this, you win, you lose. If you have a bad record, panic. Good record. Sky's the limit. Make some trades. Yeah, this is separation week.
Love it. I'm right there with you. Good luck, everyone. Hope you do well. If you have questions, we will probably put up a prompt on Instagram. Hit us up through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the fuck you contact us with. You probably know. I don't know. Shrek just sends me the questions on Sunday morning, and we answer them. So hit us up for any sort of lineup questions. For Vinny, for Let's Talk Fantasy Football, my name is Walsh. Later, podcast.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.